You know, we spend so much time worrying about firewalls and complex passwords. But what if I told you the single biggest vulnerability in your company's security isn't a piece of software at all? Nope, it's that brand new job title you just proudly posted on LinkedIn. So today, we're going to dive into exactly how your public profile, the one you've worked so hard on, becomes the wide open front door for cyber attackers.
Yeah, we all have this image in our heads, right? The hacker in a dark room wearing a hoodie, furiously typing away, trying to break in. But the reality? It's so much less dramatic. Most of the time, they don't have to break in at all, because we've already left the door unlocked. Heck, sometimes we even hand them the key.
See, it all starts with public information. All that stuff we're encouraged to share on social media, especially professional sites like LinkedIn. Or think about what our own companies put out there on their websites. The modern cyber attack doesn't start with some big, loud bang. It starts quietly with a simple Google search.
And that right there, that's the new front line. It's not some heavily guarded server room anymore. It's your public profile out there for the whole world to see.
So there's a name for this practice. It's called OSINT, which stands for Open Source Intelligence. And let me tell you, it's a classic double-edged sword. On one hand, the good guys, security teams, use it to hunt for threats. But on the other hand, the attackers, well, they use it to create them. Think about it. That post you made celebrating a big promotion, to an attacker, that's a map of your company's org chart. That job listing your company posted for a new developer, it's a blueprint of your entire tech stack. Even something as innocent as a comment about working late to get this project done, well, that just told an attacker the perfect time to send you a fake urgent email.
So how do they do it? How do they turn all these little harmless details into an actual weapon? Well, they have a playbook, a very specific one.
The first thing to understand is that these attackers don't just guess. They are meticulous researchers. They're building a profile on you, ticking boxes on a checklist. Okay, where does she work? What's her exact role? Who are her coworkers? What software are they always talking about? Who are their main vendors? They're even figuring out what a normal message from your boss or from IT feels like. Every box they check makes their eventual attack that much more believable.
I like to think of it like they're putting together a puzzle. Each little tidbit of public info about you or your company is just one tiny piece. On its own, it's pretty meaningless, right?
So first, they grab a puzzle piece over here. Maybe it's your job title on LinkedIn. Okay, that tells them your seniority and who you probably report to.
Then they find another piece, a photo you posted from a conference. Oh, look, your badge is visible. That confirms your full name and title.
And they connect that with a press release your company put out last month about a big new software rollout.
And boom, suddenly all those little separate harmless pieces click together. And now they don't just have a vague idea of you, they see your entire professional life in high definition. And with that crystal clear picture, they can craft an attack that feels perfectly and dangerously normal.
And this right here is the absolute most dangerous part of this whole thing. All that research, all that puzzle building, it has just one goal, to make their attack feel completely and utterly normal.
Let's walk through a classic example. Imagine you get an email. It looks like a totally routine security update from Microsoft Teams. Your company uses Teams all day, every day, so you don't even think twice. It feels normal. You click the link, it takes you to a login page that looks legit, you pop in your password to re-authenticate, and that's it. Game over. You've just handed over the keys. The whole thing works precisely because it blended in perfectly with your normal workday.
And this is a really crucial distinction to make. We've all seen generic phishing, right? Those sloppy, typo-filled emails sent to millions of people, just hoping someone, anyone, will bite. That's a volume game. But spear phishing, the kind fueled by all this OSINT research, that is a whole different beast. It doesn't rely on volume. It relies on relevance. It's not designed to fool the whole world. It is custom-built from the ground up to fool you.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it, but this is really just a problem for the CEO, right? But honestly, the reality is way broader than that.
See, attackers go after anyone with valuable access. I'm talking about finance teams who can approve wire transfers, HR teams who have all the sensitive employee data. IT admins, well, they literally hold the keys to the entire kingdom. And think about it, sales and ops staff, even executive assistants, these are people whose jobs often require them to open attachments and click on links from people they don't know.
And that really gets to the heart of the risk here. An attacker doesn't need to find some super complex flaw in your firewall. They just need to find one person. One busy, distracted employee who clicks one link that looks just legitimate enough. That's all it takes.
Okay, so that's the problem. And I know it can sound pretty bleak, but it is absolutely not hopeless. We can fight back, and it starts with what we call hardening our public profiles.
So what can you actually do? Here are a few immediate, practical steps. First, go look at your public profiles, especially LinkedIn. A great rule of thumb is this: if it's not absolutely essential for landing your next job or client, maybe it doesn't need to be public. Listing every single piece of internal software you're an expert in, that's just giving attackers ammunition. Second, be careful about what you post in real time. That selfie from the conference floor, it can wait until you're back home. And maybe most importantly, we need to build a culture of verification. Make it totally normal to pick up the phone and double-check an unusual request. No one should ever feel bad for being cautious.
And look, the goal here isn't to disappear from the internet. It's not about deleting all your accounts and becoming a digital hermit. It's simply about being more intentional. It's a shift from just accidentally oversharing to communicating with a purpose. It's about knowing exactly what you're sharing and why.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. If a cybercriminal spent the next 30 minutes looking you up online, what story would your public profile tell them? What puzzle would they be able to piece together? Because I can guarantee you one thing: they're already looking.